Welcome everybody, my name is Anton, and in this video I wanted to show you how you can connect your Express API with MeldRx. For those of you that don't know, MeldRx is a fully featured FHIR API, so you can go ahead, store your medical data in there, and also query it. It also acts as an authentication provider. So if you're going to be creating your patients, your providers in there, that is all built in. With all of that said, all the demonstrations, the source code, the documentation that I'm going to be using, all of the links are going to be in the description. So don't forget to check it out. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. And if you are enjoying this video and you would like to see more in the future, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. With that, let's go ahead and get started. So here I am already logged into MeldRx. Signing up is completely free, and you can also provision the workspaces on the free subscription. For our authentication layer with Express, we are going to be using Express OpenID Connect. And I also have the FHIR documentation open. This is where I'm going to be grabbing some sample data to seed our workspace with. Okay, so first of all, let's go ahead and register an app. This is going to be my Express.js application. It is going to be a provider application, confidential. We can keep a secret, and the reason we're selecting confidential, for those that don't know, this is where we will require a secret when we're obtaining an access token for our user. Okay, we're going to select all, and over here, for now, I'm gonna put HTTP localhost 3000 on here. Next step, I am not going to be creating any linked applications, so I'm going to go ahead and select next step. And in here, yes, I will want a workspace, and this is going to be an Express.js workspace. Okay, I'll register the app, and this is going to create my workspace alongside with my application. Now, do note, we have some SPA applications available that you can create using our Create MeldRx app, which are going to be automatically seeded with this configuration. But for now, I'm going to be showing you how you can create an Express.js application that isn't part of our tool just yet. Okay, so this has all been set up. I'm going to pop over to my terminal where I'm going to create a directory, Express MeldRx. Okay, in here, in Express MeldRx, I am going to npm init a Node.js project. Okay, for all of these, I don't really care. I'm just gonna select whatever the default is and open this in the Fleet editor. Make this full screen, drag this over here, and there we have it. So here is the folder with package.json. Package.json doesn't matter too much. I'm gonna go ahead and open the terminal here at the bottom. And now we will pop over to the documentation over here, where we're going to go to the quick start and follow this blog post along a little bit. So to effectively get started, we're going to install Express and Express OpenID Connect into our application. So let's go ahead and just install. While that's installing, we're going to go a little bit further down and copy this sample code that they have over here. So copy that. New file, app.js, and paste this in here. So I'll clear my terminal and collapse it. Over here in this sample, we don't have the app. So what you have to do is, first of all, get Express. So require Express, and then you create the app by calling the Express function. Another thing that's missing over here is actually calling a listen on here. So we're going to be listening on port 3000, and this is going to try to correlate to the, if I open up a new tab, manage to this URL right here. Okay, so whatever port you put over here, make sure that it's the same port that you put over here. Okay, and vice versa. Also going to supply a callback function over here that we are not going to do anything with just yet. So this should be able to start my Node.js application. Let's go ahead and for now, actually, we will need to fill this out. If I start this now, it is going to crash. So let's fill out some of this information, and the blog post is a little bit dated. So the way that I would prefer to do this, rather than passing the config down into this auth function, Fleet will be able to help me much better if I do something along the lines of this, okay? Where now the IntelliSense should be a lot better, where I should be able to fill out things such as scope and stuff like that, all right? So we have selected, let's take a look at which scopes, all of the scopes. Particularly the scopes that I want, let me format this a little bit, are going to be open ID for the ID token, profile for information such as email, names, etc., and then patient star dot star to be able to create and read any patient documents, okay? Localhost 3000, this is where our Express application is going to live. We're going to go ahead and grab the client ID, which is this client ID here, place this over here. We're also going to have a client secret. Let's place this here, grab the client secret, and here. Indent this a little bit. The issuer base URL, this is just going to be our app.MeldRx here. Just like that. Remove the trailing /, and then a long and random string. You probably want something a little bit more cryptographically generated rather than randomly tapping on a keyboard like I just did, but that's about it. So the next thing that you want to supply is the audience parameter that you're going to be connecting to a workspace, okay? So coming back over here, we're going to grab a workspace URL and then supply it over here. And I think that's it for now. So let's go ahead and remove the config. And when we hit the root path, we are just going to get informed whether we are logged in or logged out. So let's go ahead and node app.js to run our application. Now in the browser over here, do note I'm already signed in as an admin, but I'm going to go ahead to localhost 3000 and make this a little bit bigger. And just in case we're going to get any errors, I'm going to pop open a network tab since I think I am missing something. So if we go back to the blog post over here, which is effectively a little quick start here, the way that we log in is we just go to /login. So to initiate a login, it looks like this library does add this route to your Express application. Okay, so let's go ahead and log in, and I'm going to be greeted with an error that the redirect URI is invalid. So over here in the redirect request, we're going to see that the redirect URI is going to be /callback. I'm going to go ahead, copy this, go to my app, and quickly amend this here in the redirect URLs. Save this entry. And if I come back again to 3000, I'll just clear everything and again go to /login. And we're going to see invalid grant type. So the invalid grant type is the response type of ID token. We don't want just an ID token. We actually want a code which we are going to exchange for an ID token and an access token. Okay. So to change this, we're going to go back to the code. We are going to look for a response type over here, and we're going to set this to code. Okay, I will indent this, restart the application, come back to the browser, come back over here, give this a refresh, and log in. Looks like the login is now successful. I'm going to go ahead and close the network tab and allow access. And now I'm logged in. Okay. So as we proceed in the tutorial over here, if we want to display the user profile, we could have a route that looks something like this. So if I come back, drop down the terminal, put this profile route over here, which requires authentication. So I'm going to extend the require over here to also requires auth. And that is just going to return the OIDC user. Okay. I'll save the file and restart the application. Come back over here and now take a look at /profile. Coming back to the code, if we want to take a look at the access token, on the OIDC we would have the access token here and access_token. So this is the access token response. And here you would find a little bit more information about the access token. And this is going to be the access token itself. I'm going to go ahead and open the terminal, restart the application, refresh this page, and here we have the access token. Now, the only thing that's left really is to make some calls to our FHIR API to get a patient and to create a patient. I'm not going to be creating forms or anything like that. I'm just going to create 2 additional endpoints. One endpoint is going to be get, and the other one is going to be create. So both of them will require authentication. And the access token that I have here, so let's just const access token, put it in a variable. We're going to use the fetch API to go to our FHIR API here. I'm just going to copy the workspace URL, and we are going to first post some information to it. So I don't want to put an enter here, I want to put it here. Okay, this is going to be the configuration. Let me format this a little bit, and the method that we want to supply over here, we want to post for creating. And then for the headers, we are going to first specify the authorization header. So authorization is going to be bearer plus the access token, right? If you want, you can use string interpolation here. That will look something like this, right? And then you don't need to use the plus concatenation. And then we will also inform that we are sending content type application /JSON. So we're going to be submitting JSON. And then in the body, we are going to be submitting a JSON.stringify an object. And the object, if I pop back to the documentation over here, I'm going to go to resources, find the patient, let's find some examples here. And just the first patient here, grab JSON. This is Jim, if I remember correctly. So just copy the whole document here. Let me find his name here, confirm that it is Jimmy. Yep, so there he is. Come back to the code. We're going to paste Jim over here. And well, because that data was JSON, this should effectively just work, right? So this is the data that we want to stringify and post to this endpoint, effectively creating the patient document. Okay, we're going to await this. In order to await this, we're going to have to make this lambda asynchronous. And there is going to be a response here. I will have to scroll all the way down here before we send the response. I will, on the response, read the whole thing as JSON, or maybe if previously the response was being stringified over here, I'm gonna have to maybe read it as text. So let's maybe try that. So instead of JSON, let's go ahead and just grab text like this. Perfect. And that's what we're gonna go ahead and send back, okay? Once we will have that, we are going to want to go ahead and call this API. So again, we're going to use the fetch API here. We're going to copy the headers that we're supplying over here. So let me just close this off so it's a little bit easier to see. The configuration object, let me pull this down with a method going to be get. Format this a little bit. Await, again, we're going to have to make this function asynchronous. And then the response, const text response. Let's go ahead and read the whole thing as text. We're going to wait on this. And then we can go ahead and send the string back to the response. Oh, didn't mean to collapse that. Let me remove the breakpoint, grab the text, and send it back down here. Okay. I am missing an access token, so let me just go ahead, grab this variable, place it over here, indent, and I think that should be it. I'm not sure whether I need the content type over here or not. I know fetch sometimes behaves a little bit unpredictably in the browser depending on what content you're trying to send. But I think this is about it, except we are going to want to search for patient, or rather get the patient with a specific identifier. So _ID and then supply some kind of ID over here. Okay. With this creation, we also want to supply our resource type as patient, because that's what we're going to be creating. And the identifier, we're going to be grabbing this from request query.id. And actually, I don't want a query parameter over here. I just want a / without an equals there either. Okay. So just like a regular REST API. With that, let's go ahead and restart the application. I think it has started. So first of all, we want to go to create. Let's go ahead and launch create. This is going to return us a patient. So let's go ahead and grab this. Since that says created a patient, that's the response that we get from the API. We should be able to now query for this patient. So if I get with this identifier, this is going to, well, extract this patient. And that is pretty much it on connecting your Express API with a MeldRx workspace. From here on out, you can effectively have users such as providers, patients in your workspace, and build out your application with that in mind. So patients would only have access to their patient information, and providers would be able to manage all the patient information. And you don't need to worry about building out that logic yourself. All you have to do is allow these users to authenticate with a workspace and view or create their records. And this is pretty much it on getting a simple connection of an Express application with a MeldRx workspace. MeldRx workspace, as you can see, takes care of such things as authentication and storage for you. So when you're building out your Express application, you don't need to think about things like saying this user is a patient, has access to so-and-so records, this user is a doctor, provider, has access to so-and-so or all of the records and can do whatever. Workspace takes care of the permissions and storing these files for you, really leaving the building of the application the only thing that you need to do. As always, don't forget, if you enjoyed watching the video, leave a like and subscribe. If you have any questions, do leave them in the comment section, and don't forget to check out the description. Again, thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day.